Hi everyone, this is HM&S video number 41 and you're most welcome for it. Last video we talked about VLOOKUP. Today we want to talk about one of the least used Excel function, the HLOOKUP. Now HLOOKUP has actually been around for very many years, although it's one of the least used Excel function. Some people still use it up to now. That's why in this video we're going to look at how we can actually use it. Let's switch on to Excel and we find out why exactly is HLOOKUP one of the least used function in Excel. Now the H on the HLOOKUP actually stands for horizontal. VLOOKUP is used for vertical lookup. That's when your dataset is actually set vertically, while HLOOKUP is used when your dataset is set horizontally. Now this dataset is actually set vertically. That's why we can see our field names or the table headers listed on top here. If I'm to scroll down, this dataset here is actually the same dataset, but this time around it's actually set horizontally. Our field name is actually set on rows or on the left hand side of the table. That's why the table is actually set horizontally. Now the reason why the HLOOKUP is actually one of the least used Excel functions is because of the way you set your dataset. This is actually a proper dataset. If you're setting up a proper dataset, the first row must have the field names. But if you have your field names on the first column like this one here, this is actually not a proper dataset, and most of the dataset is actually not set like this. It is actually set like this. If you don't have a proper dataset, some of the data analysis features will not work very well. Like the filter, or if you want to use the pivot table, it will not work very well if you set your dataset horizontally like this one here. You need to set your dataset always vertically like this. But there are situations where you may actually receive a dataset which is set horizontally like this, and you need to keep it like that. So you need to do analysis with the dataset that is actually set horizontally like that. That's the reason why the HLOOKUP function is actually available in Excel. Now the HLOOKUP, just like the VLOOKUP, can also do two types of lookups. The approximate match lookup, that is actually the default also for HLOOKUP, and the exact match lookup. Now for HLOOKUP to work very well, the lookup value must be set on the first row of your lookup table. Now let me first scroll down and I emphasize that. Now this respondent ID is actually going to be our lookup value. That means when you're setting up your lookup table, which is down here, the lookup value must be put on the first row of your lookup table. This should actually be the respondent ID, so I'm going to click on this cell, Control C. Click here, Control V, so that they have the same names. So in this first example here, what we're going to do, we're going to look up this respondent ID, and then we bring the respondent name or the respondent on this row here. So for example, if the respondent ID is 3, like for this first one here, we want to come to this lookup table, look at the column where the respondent ID is 3, then we go down to the next row, pick the name, and then we bring it here. The same for 2 and also for 1. We don't want to do this one at a time. If your dataset is actually set like this, VLOOKUP cannot do that. That's when you need to now use the HLOOKUP. So let's see how it works. So with this first cell selected, I'm going to do equals to HLOOKUP, tab to select it. Now it also asks for arguments, the lookup value, the table array, the row index number, that is the row index number, not the column index number, and then the range lookup, which is actually put in square bracket. That means if you know the default, you can leave it out. So I'm going to backspace, backspace, backspace. Our lookup value is actually going to be the respondent ID. So I'm going to click on the respondent ID and then comma. Now the table array is actually going to be our lookup table. So I'm going to highlight the lookup table minus highlighting the table headers or the field names. Now I want the lookup table to be the same for all these lookup values. So I'm going to hit the F4 key to lock it, to put those $sign in. Now, comma, this time around we need to go to the row index number. So when you count 1, 2, the respondent, so the respondent name is on the second row. So I'm going to put there 2, and then comma. Now the HLOOKUP can actually do approximate match or the exact match. Now if you want approximate match, you can put there true, or you can put 1, that also means true, or you can just select it and hit tab to select approximate match. And if you want exact match, you can put there false, or you can put there 0, or you can even down arrow and then you select it from there. So I'm going to hit tab to select the false because I want exact match. Then I'm going to close my bracket. When I control enter, then I copy my formula to the side like this. You can see it's actually working very well. Whenever the lookup value is 1, we are seeing Solomon being put there. 2, Elizabeth, and then 3, Peter. So that's actually how you can do exact match using HLOOKUP. Now let's scroll down and we also see how we can do approximate match. This is also the same table that we used last video. All that is actually set horizontally this time around, not vertically, because we're going to do HLOOKUP. This is also the same lookup table from last video. We're going to use revenue as our lookup value. That's why revenue is actually set on the first row of our lookup table. Now this time around we're doing approximate match. That means on our lookup table here, we have a range of values where the lookup values actually falls. So we want to go to our lookup table, find the range where the lookup value falls, then we move down to the next row, pick the commission, and then we put it there. This is actually the category where all those one falls. But if you put the value which is less than all the lookup values on this lookup table, the HLOOKUP and even the VLOOKUP will actually return for you an error. But if you put a value which is more than all the lookup values, the HLOOKUP will actually pick for you the last value, which is this value here for our case here. Now let's click on this cell and we see how to do this. Equals to HLOOKUP, tab to select it. Now our lookup value is actually going to be the revenue, so I'm going to click on this and then comma. The table array is going to be our lookup table, so I'm going to highlight our lookup table like this without highlighting the field names or the table headers. Now I'm going to hit the F4 key to lock it, comma. The row index number I'm going to count from the first row, 1, 2. The commission is on the second row, so I'm going to put there 2 and then comma. The range lookup, this time around we are doing approximate match. Now, if you're doing approximate match, you can actually leave it out because approximate match is actually done by default. But for me, I always like selecting it whenever I'm training people. So I'm going to hit tab to select it. Then I'm going to close my bracket. When I control enter, and then I copy my formula to the side, you can see that for $400, it's actually giving me $0. Now, when you come to exactly $2,000, $2,000 is here and it's speaking for me the $15 which is here. But if you have like $2,999, the $2,999 is actually not yet $3,000. So it's going to be on this range here. It's from 3,000 and above that will be on this range here. Yeah, that is it about HLOOKUP in Excel. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. And if you found this video interesting, give it a like and then you share it with your friends. This is a video where we talked about VLOOKUP. You can click on it, then you go and watch it. Until next video, HM&S video number 42, then we meet again. Thank you.